Hello, Ben Myers here. Today I am doing the tabletop tag, which I was dominated to do by Julian and Libby from Boxed Meeples, and so I figured I might as well accept the challenge and do that. So the tabletop tag is 20 questions that help the viewers get to know me as a gamer. Question number 1 is, what is my name, age, and location? So Ben Myers is my name. I am 26, just turned 26. I currently live in Superior, Wisconsin. I'm originally from Coon Rapids, Minnesota, and I spent a lot of time living in Burien, Washington, near Seattle. My favorite childhood board game, so my stepdad worked at a game store for a few years, and so he would bring home some miscellaneous games. A lot of them were mass market games, but working at a game store, at that point, they were starting to get better games. We got Killer Bunnies. We played that quite a bit. That was interesting to take that game with cards and dice, and you were trying to kill the other bunnies and search for the magic carrot. So, question number 3, when did you really get into the board game hobby? So I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And then I would go to a shop to play that, but I was kind of forced into playing Magic the Gathering at that point. And so I would play Magic the Gathering with them, and then I would be slowly introduced to board games, and then eventually when the MTG community became too toxic, I switched over to board games. Number 4, what was the first game that I purchased? So the first game, I don't remember exactly what it was, but the earliest I can remember is this game here. It's called Tanto Cuore. It is a deck building game. It's in sort of like this Magic the Gathering card box. It was a game that belonged to the owner of the shop that I worked at, and I purchased it from him, and I played it at the shop. I taught it to some people. It was kind of like my intro deck building game. I played that, and I played the DC deck building game. So, and this I picked up and purchased. I'm not sure why, but I did, and I played it. I haven't played it in a while, but it's a little like anime style Japanese maids deck building game where you're trying to get the best maids to your mansion. Interesting little game. Number 5, any other hobbies I have? So I spent a lot of time looking at other YouTubers for board gamers. I watch a lot of board game YouTubers when I'm not playing games myself. I spend a lot of time with my dogs. You might see one of them right down there, Lacey, the German Shepherd. We also have a Corgi. They take up a lot of our time. Number 6, breakthrough game. So I think the first like modern hobby board game I played, aside from growing up playing like Killer Bunnies, Catan, one that really broke through to me was probably Betrayal at House on the Hill. I mean, that one was just seeing like all the different, like the thematic ties that board games can have, and all the variability that I didn't see otherwise in games prior, and so that really did it for me. And then playing games like Mansions of Madness stepped it up one more step above that. Number 7, a theme that really drives me in. So I like a lot of animal themed and nature themed games that are kind of calm, relaxing, nothing too serious. But I also like the enriching Cthulhu games as well. Number 8, my favorite mechanism. I like engine building games that you can start out like small and then work your way up. Kind of like Wingspan, Everdell, Splendor. So those are some good ones that I really like. A theme that I don't like or mechanisms I'm not very good at. So I'm not very good at auction and bidding games, not a huge fan of those. I'm not a huge fan of Take That. Area control games are okay sometimes, but they're not always my favorite. And themes I don't like themes that are overdone. Like boring, like beige, treading in the Mediterranean sort of games. Games that have been overdone too much is what I would say for themes that I don't like. Newest game in my collection. So this was a game that was purchased for me, and that is Summer Camp, Phil Walker Harding game. It is a deck building game of sorts, intro level. Don't know too much about it, just got it, but it's one I definitely wanted to try since it was on sale, and so I know it was on sale, but then it was purchased for me. Because I was like, hey, that seems like a cool game, and then they purchased it. My favorite player count. So I like playing 2-player games with my friend Danielle. That's probably my favorite. And then otherwise, I like 4-player games. Those are pretty... Usually the best player count for the kind of games that I have is 4. I have a lot of 2 to 4-player games, 1 to 4-player games. And so 4 players seems to be pretty good, and more than that gets kind of bogged down with some games. There's some games that work well at 5, and some games that work well at 6, but I mean 4 is usually the sweet spot for most of the games in my collection. Unless it's like a party game, in which at that point I will just be like going up with as much as I can. What is my board game pet peeve? So, I used to be pretty uptight when it comes to games. I would not like it when people were on their phones. I wouldn't like it when people are slow to take their turns. People would get up from the table, whatever. But now I'm not so much, and I just want people to enjoy the game, have fun, not try to take over other people's turns or try to tell them like how they should be doing their turns if they don't want to, or especially in cooperative games. When people are quarterbacking the whole game, it's just not fun at all. What player color do you use the most? So I will usually like you go for black or blue or pink. Not a lot of games have pink, but otherwise I'm usually the last one to pick the color because I don't really care too much about color. But if they have like a pink option, that's probably my favorite, which is weird because I'm not a huge pink fan otherwise. I don't know why. Number 14, do I read the rulebook for a game or do I watch a how to play video? So for me, I usually watch a how to play video. If there's a Rodney Smith watch it played video, I will definitely watch that. Otherwise, if it's another channel that's doing it, I will watch it to get an idea of how to play, and then I will read the rulebook for more information. But Rodney Smith, if I'm watching one of those videos, then I will just watch that and then jump right in. That's not a problem. I can usually teach a game pretty easily from a Rodney Smith video. Number 15, a favorite snack to eat while playing board games. I don't usually eat a lot of snacks. I know a lot of people I play with like to have snacks, but usually I won't unless it's like during mealtime that the game is being played. It just happens to fall under that time. But usually I'll have like a drink or like a light something that doesn't make a mess, but I'll usually just not, if I can help it, eat during the game. Have I ever been to a board game convention? So I have not been to an official board game convention. I've been to like different events that have had board gaming at them. I've been to PAX West, which is a video game convention which had some board games at it. I've been to Emerald City Comic Con a few times, and I've talked to some board game publishers there, and they've had like board gaming like events downstairs that were kind of off to the side, or I've been to like different comic conventions in the Seattle area or horror conventions, but no official board game specific conventions. What's your favorite thing about the board game hobby? So my favorite thing about the board game hobby is probably the people, that I've met through Favorite Game Friday, my friends. I only have a handful of them, but they're always fun to play with. And also just doing the channel and having all the kind comments come through for that. That's been great. Number 19. do I open and punch the game right away, or do I wait until I play to open? So I used to like have games sit on my shelf unpunched all the time. I would have a whole bunch of them. But ever since I started recording videos, I would do a lot of unboxings. So usually right when I get a game, I will record an unboxing for it, and then I'll upload it onto the channel at some point later on. So that's one thing that's really changed since I've started doing YouTube. So that's something interesting that I noticed. And also, number 2, final question. People I'd like to see do this tag. I would like to see Linda from Get a Clue Casual Gamer. I'd like to see her responses. I'd like to see Wendy, my friend Wendy, do it. And I would like to see, do Shane from the board meeting. I'd like to see a Midwesterner do that, and from North Dakota. So that'd be interesting. Well, that's the tabletop tag. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.